guy. Heard these two dudes talking. One of them said to the other one that they used to one. Who said you guys are whack?
Who's ever whack? You ever whack? You take it back. Who's ever whack? You talking smack? You're gonna get smacked.
You're saying that I'm whack, but it just ain't so.
Someone's ever whack. Why would they say that? I don't think we're whack. Who's ever whack? Who's ever whack? I can't believe that. They must be smoking crack. Say that we're whack. Say that we're whack. You probably get smacked. If you say we're whack, did you say we're whack? Who's ever whack? I'll paint your eye black. Once I check my facts. Who's ever whack? I'll put a person up and call a person